Y'all back? Is this thing on? Is it? I can't believe we back. Oh my goodness, y'all back? We back? Y'all really are here. Welcome back, everybody. It is another season, the return of Certified Unscripted. So I was supposed to bring back some of my hip hop and go, been a long time since I left you without a dope show to watch or something like that. But anyway, I'm glad that you're here. I promised Rita that I would kick that old beat from way back in the 80s. We have so much to play catch up on. When we left you last, I guess, October, Certified Unscripted left before the college season began. And just as we wrapped up the WNBA season, we have had a plethora of guests that came on, legends, living legends that have made the game what it is. And we're excited that this season we can return and do it again for you. If you're watching on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live, we have expanded. And in the future, please keep listening because it sounds like we're going to expand even more. But for right now, we're still on the same platforms where you can find us. We have a lot of loyal fans out there. We really appreciate you. And without further ado, I'm going to get right to the show. So welcome again to Certified Unscripted. Forgot even to say my name. I am your host, Vera Jones. And let me tell you about a living legend that we have on the show every week. Her name is Penny Toler. She is the former executive vice president and general manager of the three-time WNBA champion Los Angeles Sparks. She was a part of the organization for 23 years. Some of y'all barely that old, as a player, executive, coach, and as a GM, general manager. And that included not one, not two, but three WNBA championships in 2001, 2002, and later in 2016, she took a little time off to chill. Penny became general manager back in 1999. She won the title 2 years later, making her the fastest person in professional sports, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're talking male or female, to go from being a player to a general manager to winning a championship. She's the winningest and longest tenured general manager in the WNBA history and the first female athlete to have her jersey retired in the Staples Center. Whew, that's enough. And you're never going to get that long title or entrance again. Penny, welcome back to the show. How you been, girl?
Girl, I've been good. I've been missing you guys, and I've been missing you. And, I couldn't wait for the day to come. I just ran in here. It's blowing wind out in California, but I'm super excited to be back. It's so much news that we have, we can share. There's so much happening. And then, but Vera, you had a great off season, and I want to tip my hat. I mean, coming back out of COVID, and you hosted the Dawn Staley Award. I mean, you got to tell me what that was like too before we get started here.
It's awesome. The Dawn Staley is. I actually started with the inaugural season back in 2013. Skylar Diggins was our very first winner of the Dawn Staley. Since then, we've had like a plethora of just all-time greats that are doing very, very well in the WNBA even now. This year, it was Caitlin Clark. She was the last year she won. She was the very first freshman. This year, she was the first back-to-back winner of the Dawn Staley Award. So Caitlin Clark, who launches them from half court from Iowa. Yeah, she was there. And Dawn gave, of course, we were virtual. Usually we do it in Philadelphia. We didn't get a chance to do it, obviously, live again. But I'm really praying things will get back to normal. Also, that we'll finally get to do Certified Unscripted one day live. We're really hoping to do that. So all the fans, please stay tuned for that. Who knows when it will happen, though. But Penny, it's all on you to make sure that happens for us.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if you're in LA, it's easy. Hey, come on over to the club. Or you know what, better yet, come on over to the pad. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Yep. All right, party at Penny's house.
It's funny because I don't drink or smoke. Anybody that knows me, but I got a full bar over here from all my other friends. I got a full stack bar. I tell everybody, I have a full bar over here.
Yeah. Well, also today we're waiting on, not really sure. She had a speaking engagement, so we're waiting to see if Ruthie Bolton is going to join us. She is an original franchise player of the WNBA Sacramento Monarchs, scored over 2,000 career points and fourth on the WNBA's all-time point list. And another person that shunned us tonight, as if she had something to do, like be in a play-in game for the NBA, as if that were important, right? Olympic gold medalist, NCAA national championship, inaugural WNBA draft, New York Liberty legend, Teresa Weatherspoon is our fourth member of the party. And also who comes from behind the scenes. And so I'll just go ahead and pop her in now. The woman that brings it all together, Rita Haywood, our executive producer. Hey, Rita always shot. Rita always got lighting issues. Now it's all on this side of the face.
Look. I'm doing okay for tonight, considering I'm a replacement player. So
right.
I am a replacement player, y'all. I don't do this. So
and Rita, I'm not mad at you because usually you be in the dark. At least
thank
too much light. So
thank you for having my back.
Last season we had to pull Rita out of the dark. Now she is totally in the light. And so we're here and we've got a ton of talk about. So since we kind of started on the whole Dawn Staley piece, I already see that somebody, as Tion Green wants to know, is Dawn Staley in South Carolina the new dynasty of women's basketball? I'm taking that question right off the top so we can kind of wrap up the college NCAA season and jump into the WNBA. We had the draft last night. So quick thoughts on that real quick, on Dawn and the dynasty, South Carolina. What's your thoughts, Penny?
Dawn is definitely building the dynasty down there. It's great to watch her work. You know, been friends with Dawn for I don't know how many years, more than 20. She done took a program that was, you know, when she went to South Carolina, I'm sure a million people say, oh, why is she going to South Carolina? Look at, she done built it into a dynasty. Done have what, 2 player of the years now between Asia and what, she got 2 titles. I'm sure she's going to be the favorite next year. I'm going to throw her history out there. I think the only coach who's been able to beat Kim Mulkey, Gino, and Tara Vanderbilt all in the same year, you know? And I'm going to tell you something. We don't want to move on too quick from the NCAA because I tell you what, it was one of the best Final Fours ever. You know, it's kind of busy
most
this year.
Watched,
but it had the most views. I mean, if you went to this Final Four this year, you got your money's worth. You got to see Gino versus Tara, the 2 winningest coach in the game, you know? And then you had Dawn versus Louisville. Then you had the present Olympic gold medal coach in Dawn and the past Olympic gold medal coach in Gino. So, and Dawn came out victorious. So I'm going to tell you something. This victory definitely got to be sweet for her because I know as a player, you always say, I want to come through the best to win it. And she came through the best to win it. So to answer your question, I done gave the long version, the short version. Dawn doing the thing. I look for her to get a couple more titles. And I'm going to say my last thing, not to be long-winded, but look at what she did during the offseason, thinking about all the good things that happened, how to start the season, how she cut a piece of her net that Carolyn Peck gave her, and she sent it to every Black coach that was in the Division I college.
That was very cool.
How is that like trying to share the legacy, share the wealth, share the motivation, and understand that it's not just about her. She wants to bring a, army with her,
Your thoughts, Rita? Dawn's been around for a long time, done a lot of great things from the Olympics to obviously what she's created at South Carolina. And before you even answer, I just wanted to throw in, don't want to get politically incorrect, but at South Carolina, I'm just being honest in terms as a Black woman in the state of South Carolina. I used to be a country radio broadcaster in South Carolina. So I feel like I can speak on this. I can speak on it. Yeehaw! That is a very tough place to be. And she has built a dynasty, in my opinion, absolutely. Probably, and I don't know if it could have been any harder. So kudos to the loyal fans at South Carolina as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a slow but fast-moving tidal wave, if you get what I'm saying. I think she's poured so much of herself into the community, into bringing the community together, that they naturally have her back in whatever situation. And she's proven everything that she said she's going to do. So she hasn't just been talking the talk. She's walked the walk. She signed some great recruits. Next year, they have a phenomenal player. I forget the girl's name. I think it's Alicia something. I forget her name, but she literally has the dunking ability of, a number of players that are in the league now. But I think she's just done a phenomenal job as far as just slow and steady building her program to a powerhouse. So yes, she's the new dynasty. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just absolutely, it's a good segue too, of just to talk about a lot of the great players that have come out of the NCAA. And obviously, we had a chance to take a look at the draft last night. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about the draft. Anything else about the NCAA before we jump into the WNBA? Because I know we're going to get flooded. Any other thoughts to tip that off real quick?
Yeah, I think what's interesting about the the NCAA, and we may, I don't know how much time we want to spend on it. The thing I find funny, and I don't follow, I'm laughing because let's talk about this portal here. You get
the transfer portal.
You get teams that lose.
That
Absolutely.
Teams that
elephant
lose,
in the room.
and the players are in the portal 2 days later. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I think is interesting about the NCAA now is, to be honest with you, do you want to recruit from scratch, or do you just want to recruit in the portal? Because in the portal, it be loaded.
Right.
Right. I'm going to go in the portal first, and then I'm going to branch my way out. It's interesting to see these different dynamics that's happening in women's basketball, men's basketball, and definitely in women's basketball, because it's so much movement, where before you see a little more, stability and people staying put. But yeah, at this point, if I was a GM now, you always have to keep up with who's going where, which way I go, because of all the movement. Then you put the portal with, you got 108 kids, I believe it was,
that came out. Yep.
That probably should have stayed in college. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, but it is about math. I mean, if you already have all the other people that are in the draft that are seniors, and now here come another wave, I was like, I'm really concerned, because I can tell you right now, no, you're not making the WNBA. And the only reason I say that, because the teams are loaded already. The people that are there, they're getting better. The ones that were there last year. And, I hate to say it, it's going to be a lot of good players that are going to be disappointed. And this is where I want the league has to expand. It has to expand. We're here. You have to expand now.
Yeah, I think the league definitely has to expand, but I also think that players need to really look at the reality of what the WNBA is about right now. Look at it from a number perspective. 108 players came out to go into the WNBA draft. Who's going to really make it out of those 108? Maybe a handful, a fistful. So I don't know where the young ladies are getting their advice from. Who's talking to them, their agents, or whatever the case might be, in relationship to the, coming out and joining the WNBA. But it's not an easy task, because if so, everybody would be in it that's out there now. So I just think it's a problem of them getting the wrong advice and just kind of feeling themselves like, yeah, I can do this. But it's a hard journey.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys, and I was thinking about this, and I almost wrote about it yesterday. Yesterday I had a little time, so I put out some little, people were calling me, so I put out some little information.
It was good stuff too. I caught one of those. Go ahead.
The thing, I think, the league has to expand, and Rita, I agree with you 100%. You have these agents, they have their friends telling them, you have a 20-point game, or you ball like 6 games. Hey, you ready. There's a lot of players you're not ready. But the one thing I would like to say, and I hope the NCAA hears this, and I hope players hear this too, and I hope we can go to this. I think we need to go to, if a WNBA player declares for the draft and doesn't pick an agent, that she can go back in college. Because I want to say to all you college players out there, that's an opportunity. And the reason I always love college, the reason I love high school basketball, because it's still innocent. When they get up here, you're only as good as your last day. Forget about the last game, and you have a lot of players up here. And I'm going to tell you something. Yesterday, I guarantee you had a lot of hearts that were broken.
Right.
Players, they were coming in. And my thing is, you do the math, you do the numbers. I mean, last year, I think 2 or 3 finally made it. And think about it. I would have to dig deep to tell you. I mean, the number 1 pick, what's her name? God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the name, but she was from Texas. And remember, she got drafted and she was playing with Dallas. God, I can't remember her name at the moment. But either way, she started.
I can't help because I can't remember what I had for lunch earlier.
Yeah, so. She started in the games and then, she disappeared. But I saw she gave an interview and said that she's going to go back, get better. And I believe she's going to get better. Everybody that's drafted everybody that was drafted yesterday, like your Ryan Howards, if I'm her, I'm happy. I'm going to a team that need me. You know what I'm saying? Right. If I got drafted to Indiana, I'm happy because there's room for me to play.
Right.
Everybody else that got drafted, you coming off the bench. I think they may be good players in the year coming off the bench, and I guarantee you, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be counting how many of these players really made a roster.
Right.
Burnell Hooker made a good point that it's tough for coaches too, right? It's good for some who can just go in there and grab what they want, like a la carte, like that at Walmart with the rollback.
Are you talking about the portal?
The portal, yeah. But it's a pain, obviously, for many, many others who can never establish themselves. Freshmen that they spend all that time recruiting. Say what?
What'd you say? Maryland, her best 2 players went in the portal.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just up and go. Just in time, we might welcome in the mighty Ruthie. Ruthie's old school and remembers when there was no such thing as the portal, and when you get mad at your coach or get mad at whatever, you could just up and roll. What are your thoughts, mighty Ruthie, on the transfer portal out of college being like the rollback at Walmart?
Right.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? Hey, everybody. Good to see y'all. Hey. I'm in Mississippi and I've been in the field all day and
anyway, I saw you.
Girl, just a mess. I'm back at the okra, peas, greens, and all that kind of stuff. But somebody got to eat. We got to eat. But you know what? The portal is. I'm blown away about the portal because it just. I don't know. I'm like you said. You have 2 bad practices. That hey, I'm out. I'm a pull. It's like. And I know there's some legitimate reasons to go, but it's just a lot of
maybe not. Maybe not. I'm
I know.
Devil's advocate because
it makes it so easy for them to just okay, I'm out. It don't create this resilience of this fight and just like I'm just gonna have to just get through. And it's sort of I think some people a lot in the portal just take the easy way out.
And then ask yourself, if you're a coach, I'm sitting here thinking. And like you say, I some players got a legitimate gripe, but as a coach, you can't coach out of fear. So I mean, what was that 3 years ago? Dawn had players going in the portal, and she was like, "Go." Gino says the same thing, because I believe when you giving these scholarships, and I had to do it. So anybody out there saying, "Oh, Penny, you should do it," no, I had to do it. When you commit to something, at least give it a year. Because I remember when I first went to Italy, I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
But once the next year came, it got easier and easier.
Right.
And
you learn from it. I think now, with a lot of players, they want instant fame, they want instant gratification, they want to be known, they want to be noted, they want to make their money on the end of their likeness now. But they can stay in school and probably do more with their image and likeness than they could coming out. Like you said yesterday, Penny.
That's what I was saying. Like when we were talking, I go, hey, like I said in one of the articles I wrote, if I'm not in the first round, I'm not saying the second round pick can't make it or third round. I don't pick players in the second round or third round. But if I'm not in the first round with the way these teams are stacked right now, I'm going back to college. I'm going to better my position. Right. And believe me, you can make more with your likeness than what you're going to make on that rookie contract.
Absolutely.
All so that's another reason.
TikTok it up.
Whoever you listening to or whoever's in your ear, you really need to. If they don't know what they're talking about, I wouldn't be listening to them. Because now, if you came out, if you didn't get drafted, it's going to be hard to make a team. And then once you get cut, where you going? And here's the other reality that I want to say to you college kids out there. Overseas, it's not like that anymore.
Nope.
The money done dried up. COVID done dried it up. The war is drying it up. And then the new rule in the CBA is kicked in that a lot of people don't know about. This is the year for the WNBA that if you're on the WNBA team, you have to be in training camp. That's why the president of the league said yesterday, Brittany has a little more room if she decides she want to play. But every other player has to be in training camp. So you know what I'm saying, Ruthie? It's not like before where we had players overseas, so you could bring in more players in training camp until they got here. Now everybody's in training camp. Right. So you're not going to even have people even having an opportunity to get into training camp now. And this is why I say, okay, I'm asking everybody to be a little gracious now. The NCAA should say, you know what? Because it is tough to make the WNBA. If you don't have an agent, you don't get drafted, you can go back to college. Because I hate that these players are going to be hanging out here with nothing. And they have the other league, the new league, Athletes Unlimited. Thank God for that. But it's not paying the money that overseas would have paid.
And a short season, right?
If it wasn't dried up.
Short season, yeah.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Right.
That's a good point. That's a good
point. I think the coaches also have to really educate themselves in terms of what is best for their player and have a conversation with the player, the parents, whomever that's really helping them make that decision. Because the coaches should know, look, you're one of 100 or 200 players that are coming out. Everyone's not making a team.
Yeah. Well, i.e., to speak to that, and don't get me wrong, a lot of these players, when they coming out, they ain't listening to their coach. And I don't have, and I say this, and I say this with all honesty, and I love this player. I'm just giving you an example. And I love this player. Muffet McGraw found out that Jewel Lloyd was going into pros right after they won. Remember that? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this league over here, these players and Jewel's great. Thank God she's great. You know what I'm saying? But remember, Muffet didn't know she was coming to the pros until it was announced, because you got these agents, you got your friends, you got your family saying go, 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 go. But like I said in one of my articles, if the GMs ain't calling for you and you had a conversation, and I know because I'm a GM with your coach or with you, you better second guess about coming out early. Because I'm going to tell you something. College is a special thing. I'm not telling you to stay there, but like I said again, too, the WNBA is the best of the best, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I wanted to say before we moved on, because you brought it up, and I definitely do not want this broadcast to go past giving our regards and our concern for Brittany Griner. I know that situation. At least we're happy to know that she's safe, but it's still extremely disappointing where she is at a time of where she is, all the politics that surround it. It is very unfortunate. And I know that there are a ton of different ways we could take that conversation, but for me personally, I wanted to just make sure that we were able to express our regards, to say, send out our love and concern and our prayers for Brittany Griner. Anybody else on that, feel free, but I just wanted to make sure I could just shove that in before we kept moving on.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And, I really, obviously, everything you said, I'm 100% with you on that. I pray for a speedy and safe return for Brittany. And their team was loaded, but not even looking at their team. This is life, This
is life. You're right.
And and Brittany's an amazing person and player, and I'm gonna leave right there because I ain't got nothing else good to say about who. So
I'll piggyback off of everything you both just stated. Right now I think the best thing we can actually do is just pray for her and keep her in our thoughts, and just hope that the people and the powers that be are doing everything necessary to assist her in getting back home.
Yeah, I know. I applaud a lot of the other WNBA players. Penny, I don't know if you on that. Are you on that group chat with us? It's about 150 players, current and former players.
Oh no, I'm not. I didn't know anything about it. Nope.
Yeah, we got to get you. Yeah, we've been the Taj is one leading it, but a lot of they've been having prayer times for her, and people seem very concerned. They've been keeping us updated on what's going on. And I don't know if you heard, they said she could possibly be released in May.
Well, that's what they said. I've been following the news where they say May 19th. I pray to God it's May 19th.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you think that, Trisha asked, how do you think that this situation and the war on Ukraine and everything else, I mean, you all have played overseas. Does that cause a whole new thought process for players about going over? Where do you think that mindset is right now?
Well, I'm gonna say my opinion and let you elaborate. I'm just gonna be honest, and I'm not a political person. I know that sounds sort of cheesy, but I think it's a passive aggressive Russian move. That's what I'm thinking. I might be. I hope I ain't. I just feel that way. So I don't think it's just a whole lot of moving parts. And I pray that this is taken seriously, and that it's not just okay, whatever. So hopefully the people in authority that really doing all they can to help her to to get released. That's sort of my take.
Will it affect a lot of players, you think, Penny?
I can tell you if it was me, it would, because the reality of this is, and I think about this every day. I mean, the world is going to be affected by this war.
It already is.
People got to realize that we're not on the battlefield yet, but we're in the war. That's why you see the high gas prices. That's why you see the high food prices. That's why you see all those things. And to be honest with you, I pray that we don't go to war. But, obviously, we're probably dealing with someone that's irrational. So you got to ask yourself, how long will we remain on the side?
Yeah.
And, to the people in Ukraine, I do want to say this. My God, to stay in the fight versus a giant. You know what I'm saying?
Even in the Goliath, right?
And it goes to show you, the heart of a lion, and I'm not gonna lie to you, what I see on TV is just unbelievable and unacceptable in so many ways,
Yeah, it is. It's hard to watch. It's hard to believe, and yet, and still, it's real, very real.
Yeah.
And the whole, for me, I find it ironic that there are people that are out there, that want athletes to not have a voice. And now we're in a predicament where athletes are, in jeopardy, just for going overseas and being involved in these things. So I guess I'm still salty over, shut up and just dribble, I guess, I'm still salty, because there's this whole thing that says politics and sports shouldn't mess, and still, how can you say that it shouldn't when you're right up in the middle of it, right? So just the thought, definitely don't want to go there too deep today, because I really, really wanted to ask about the draft. So here's my segue into my segue anyway. You can segue how you want, but my segue is I'm sitting there and I became a Destiny Henderson fan, little point guard from South Carolina, right? I became a fan. I know that there's going to be different takes on this, but I cringed because I think she was predicted first round and she sat there till pick number 20. And I think, again, I want to ask the GM, how much goes into what the experts say people should think? At the end of the day, it's going to come down to what you want and what you need, and you don't always publicize that, or do you? Do GMs kind of show their hand in terms of what they want to do? Because I just feel, I guess I'm like a mommy. I feel bad that like the little kid is just sitting there and she ain't get picked to get in the game. You know what I mean? I thought she would have went higher, but I guess Biggs took over. We're going to reveal.
Yeah,
for those
they
people that
did.
didn't catch that, we'll reveal who went, top 5, top 10, or whatever. But quick question on that as we segue from college into this whole WNBA thing. Sometimes your dreams get kind of squashed.
Most definitely. And to be honest with you, and I'm gonna put it like this, and people are not gonna like it, but we certified Unscripted. Don't believe your hype. And what I mean by don't believe the hype, this is the one knock I always had on college women basketball. Players are better, evolution is there, but they don't study what they're about to play against. You got a lot of college players that you're good in college, and you have a lot of team. And let's just be honest here, you guys. In the men's NCAA, we don't know who's going to win.
Sure.
But in the women's game, we can predict probably 3 out of the 4 teams that's going to go to the Final Four because their teams are just that good. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
I did get 3 of them right, by the way.
And you're going to show out just because your team is better than that team. But now take you as an individual coming up here in the WNBA, where if you were to just get any team, open the book, they probably got all Americans, McDonald first team, all world, everything. Mm-hmm. And I look at a lot of these players, and I'm not going to sing out no names. I'm like, and I'm not talking about Destiny when I say this. I'll be like, oh, the footwork is bad. As a GM, I look, oh, the footwork's bad. They can't shoot consistently from the outside. They're an erratic passer. Some of the stuff you get away in college, you're not going to get away with up here. You know, It's sort of like me looking at some of the players. Now you're going to go from a 3 or a 4. Well, you're going to go from a 4. Now you're a 3 when you get up here. You know what I'm saying? And some of the skill sets are not good. And Destiny is good. But, you know, when I saw she declared for the draft, you know, and I'm not telling Destiny what to do because I hope she make it. I love her game. I like her and all that stuff. But that's one, you just won a college championship. You go back to South Carolina, you got the whole state coming to your game. You can't tell me she wasn't going to get about 50 or 60,000 for her likeness. And she probably could have bettered her position even next year by dominating even more. But, you know, she got the heart of a champion. I'm sure she's going to go in there and fight. But, yeah, up here, we're looking at what you're about to play against, not what you're beating down there.
Right.
And I think that goes back to, I know Faith Coulter had just posted something regarding the, you know, image and likeness as far as women's basketball is number 2. Football is number 1. So men's basketball is actually number 3 when it comes to, you know, the likeness and what they can actually financially make off of their likeness. So she would have really benefited staying in another year, getting more experience, playing harder, getting stronger, and even getting more quicker, you know.
And she's a small guard. You know what I'm saying? And I had nothing against small people, so don't talk about me. I'm only 5'8", but that's
no, but it was evident with the bigs. I mean, there wasn't a single person under 6 foot that went in the top 5, right? It was all big.
Well, Emily out of Louisville, she was 6'1".
She's 6'1".
Yeah,
nobody under 6 feet.
But usually, you're right. Guards be taken real early, you know. And when they were drafting yesterday, I thought the same thing. I'm like, wow, this is a big man game right here. You know, all the big men are going. And that's why I say, don't get me wrong. If I'm Paige, I'm staying all 4 years myself. I mean, think about it. I think I heard she just signed a deal to get $65,000 per tweet. I said, I would be sitting on like this. I'm picking up my foot now. I'm picking up my knife.
I'm eating now. Right. I'm going to the bathroom.
I'm picking up this pen now. I'll be tweeting. She got that Khloe Kardashian money. Hey, I'm ready to go to the door now. I mean, I was just tweeting about everything.
That's amazing.
And her 65,000 is probably a lot more than all those players who were drafted yesterday. That's why I was like, now you have to think strategically, really, on how do you want to position yourself.
Right. And then you know everybody was probably gassing her up, like, come on, you know you're gonna go top, you just won a championship. You know, it doesn't work that way when it comes to us as women basketball players. You know, it takes a little bit more. We need a little more skill set. We need a little more, you know, nurturing in terms of our game. So
we need some more teams in the NCAA. I mean, I say NCAA in the WNBA because the WNBA right now you have more than enough players. To be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, think about it, Ruthie. We played when we had 16 teams, and maybe we shouldn't have had 16 teams. Now. And remember, it was 13 with 2 reserves. Like I said yesterday, remember we had 2 injured reserves. Where now you can really have 16 great teams.
Yeah.
Great teams. Because you're 6, 7, 8, and so on everybody's team, 6, 7, and 8 can start on anybody's team.
Right.
Exactly. I agree.
You know, so this is where I say I know the leagues is probably like, hey, we want to make sure all the teams are profitable. But it's some serious talent out there that just not getting a chance to blossom, and they're getting crushed before they get out the gate. And this is where I say to the NCAA, who they done made a lot of money already, if they don't have an agent, players that declare early, they should allow them to go back in college.
Right.
All right, I want to take a look at how things fared out and just kind of talk about these players real quick. Any surprises with Ryan Howard, the Atlanta Dream, going to the Atlanta Dream? I think that was pretty much assumed by everyone, but any thoughts? Mighty Ruthie, did you get a chance to look at or were you on the road last night?
You know, I didn't get to really see. I Penny, she's such an expert in all this draft and all that kind of stuff. Let her lead the way, but I didn't really get. Only thing that stood out, and I heard, I might be jumping the gun, is that Jackson State, a player that got recruited. What's her name? The first.
From the HBCU.
Yeah, so that was a highlight spot I heard, but I didn't really get a chance to watch it. So unfortunately.
Okay. Any thoughts, Penny? Tell us a little bit about Ryan Howard, your thought on her.
Well, I'm familiar with Ryan because I was still in my seat as the GM. Ryan, I mean, I think, like I said, if I'm her, I'm super, super happy because she's in the same position as Arike when she came out and went to Dallas. They're going to teams that are young, and you're going to get a lot of playing time. Going to Atlanta, who's in a rebuilding process, she's going to get a lot of playing time. She's going to get an opportunity to grow. And, to be honest with you, she should probably be I won't say hands down because we got some other great players in here, but her playing time is going to be a lot higher than a lot of these other players that like going to the Mystics and stuff like that. She probably will be the rookie of the year. She's legit. I thought she was ready last year. She has a pro game.
Yeah. Indiana Fever significantly improved their roster. I think they had picked 2, 4, either 2, 4, 6, and 10, or 2, 4, 8, and 10. But they had a record 4 picks first round. That's never been done before. How much did Indiana improve?
I thought Indiana improved. I think, I thought they got a great draft. They got some great young players. Like, for instance, I was watching a couple of them because a couple of them I was looking at them, and I don't, obviously, I'm not in there like 100% like I used to be when I was in the league.
Yeah.
I look at some of the players that were drafted early. The thing I always say why I think they're going to be confident is because I'm looking at people's swag too, how they coming in, because that matters when people coming in with some swag. You know what I'm saying?
There was some swag last night for sure.
My girl, what's her name? Shakira Austin.
Shakira Austin off the chain.
Yeah, she was. She definitely
was. Coming back home to DC. She started in Maryland.
Oh, did she? She from DC?
Freshman. Yeah, as a freshman.
From the DMV.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay, that's probably why I love her even more now. She's like, look, I'm coming. I'm letting you know right now, I'm coming. And I love that because that means she's embracing, she's coming. And then, she's going to be coached by one of the best coaches in Mike Tebow. I always say Mike Tebow is a great developmental coach. He's going to get you better. I could throw out many players that they were average and he made them great. And if they were great, he made them greater, And, I kind of love her swag. I love Emily's swag, and the kid from Baylor, Smith,
Melissa Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. She said, "Oh, y'all still sleeping?" And I like that too because you know what?
She said, "I'm being Melissa Smith
with a chip on her shoulder that she didn't go number one."
Because she went number 2. She was like, "Okay,
yeah, still sleeping." But you ever she said, "But still sleep."
And she's always like, "Stay woke,"
Yeah. So I can't wait to watch some of these kids.
Who do you
when they get in there and they get a chance to play?
We had a prediction of top 4 rookies, or who do you think is going to have a breakout rookie season? Anybody in particular stand out?
For me, no. Like I said, this year I kind of watched the tournament once we got to the tournament. Obviously you get caught watching the Caitlins and all those people. I thought Gino did an excellent job this year coming from behind and getting to the Final Four with all the injuries and everything that he had. So I was impressed by that. And then he beat, Tara when Tara had a whole team the whole year, and he came back and won that game to get himself into the championship game. I think like I said, all Indiana players, they should play. Ryan Howard, they should play. They're going to get time, and they're going to have an opportunity to make the all-rookie team. Anybody that went to the Mystics, even though I love my girl Shakira, I think she's going to work her way into the lineup. But you still got Elizabeth Williams there. You got Alicia Clark coming back. You know what I'm saying? You got Della Down. Hopefully she's back in the fold. Minutes may be limited. And then I think they had a player the one that went to Atlanta, she's back in DC. If you're on Vegas, Sparks, who else would I say? Well, Phoenix, you might got a moment now if Brittany doesn't come back. If you're on any of the big teams that's fighting for a chance, you ain't got a chance to get that much playing time. So it's going to be hard for you to make all rookie team or rookie of the year.
Right.
Wait a minute. We got some disagreement. I have to disagree with Howard being rookie of the year. She has a talent, but I think she's a pseudo Parker where she disappears in games, and the debate will be she is living up to her potential. Thoughts?
Well, that's where I say she has a huge advantage over a lot of people. And this is why I related her situation to Arike Agumawabi.
Howard, right?
Her last name
Agumawabi.
Down in Dallas. She went to a team where she's going to be playing a lot. She, out of everybody, a lot of these other players, like I said, if you're on Atlanta, if you're on Indiana, you got a huge window that you can learn a lot this year because you're going to play. All these other rookies that went to any of those teams I would just name it, you're not going to play. So you also have to give Ryan, just like anybody else, their moment because it takes a rookie a little chance. But I guarantee you, she's going to be a good player. She's going to take some knocks, but she should be on the floor for at least 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why Arike was able to sprout and grow. Ryan's going to sprout and grow. They moved Kennedy Carter, and she's going to be playing there. Atlanta's totally revamping. And if you really revamping, then your energy should be going into those young players if you really revamping.
Absolutely. And she's absolutely going to affect the game on both sides of the ball because she's a big defender. She's an elite scorer, and she can play both sides of the ball. So she's not just going to give you one position. She's going to give you actually three positions that she can really make an impact at immediately in coming in,
And when she make a mistake, not like on most big teams, they're not going to be like, well, let's get her out. No, you got to play her. And that's why I say, if I'm Ryan, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. You got to play me, which means I'm going to be playing a lot.
Right. I think the steal, I'm going to have to agree with Xavier here. I think Kirsten Bell, I've liked her game since she was a freshman at Ohio State, and talk about transfer portal. She ended up at Florida Gulf Coast, but look how far she took them, right? She's knocking down 23 points a game. And to your point, you go, sometimes when you're that big fish in a little pond, right? You emerge. So I think she's going to do well. I thought she had, even as a freshman, she was showing, skills as a WNBA player. So I think Vegas picked up a good one there.
And you said that yesterday, and I can honestly tell you, like this year, obviously I don't, watch every game because I gotta learn some other talent, what I'm doing now. But when I saw highlights, I go, "Oh my go, girl, go!" And I think with Becky, even though it's Becky's first year, I think she's gonna do good things down there. Vegas is loaded. Vegas is still loaded, even though they lost Liz. They still loaded.
And I think a lot of people were surprised that she was still around, for Vegas to take at that point in time, because she is a very talented player. So,
yeah, super talented.
Penny, if you had your top three picks in the draft, who would they have been?
See, I can honestly tell you, this is the first year, and I can tell you, even not following these players like I usually do, because obviously I can just catch up like that. That's only because I've done it for so long. I don't really have a top three. I agree with Mike Tebow. Mike Tebow did the best thing. There wasn't a consensus number one. If there was a consensus number one, do you think Mike Tebow would have traded his number one pick? No, he traded his number one pick to Atlanta, and he took number 3, and I believe it was number 14 to make his team better. You know what I'm saying? any of those players could have been the number one pick. It's just a matter of whoever had the pick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't have a top 3 for this draft. I can honestly tell you, I was interested in just to see who people go. But I tell you what, even though they disagree with me, Ryan Howard definitely would have been number 1 on my list. You know, or number 2, she would have been in there because I think she has a legitimate game. And I told you, a couple of these players, I like their swag. Now I just got to see if they can play. You know what I'm saying?
Rita, did you have you had anybody, a top 3 or anybody in particular as we see some of those players?
I mean, I like Nalissa Smith. I really liked her game. I like Howard. You know, I think those were my top 2. But I didn't really have a third one that really stuck out in my mind. But those top 2 I really did like overall. I mean, Shakira, I mean, she got a little swag to her, like you said. So it's going to be interesting to see what she actually does, you know, especially being back in her environment, you know, with the Washington DMV people. So it'll be interesting. But I'll say those 3 would be mine.
Well, one of the things that have been, and in fact, a couple people I think might have mentioned about the WNBA expansion, or there's all this talent that, you know, is bumped down to round 2 and all these other things. What kind of things do you want to see happen in the WNBA that you think are going to help the game grow more, help the league grow more? Thoughts on that for Tina Boo? Tina, your last name Boo for real. Tell the truth.
Her name is Tina Boo Thang.
Boo Thang. Oh, Boo is the middle name.
Middle name.
Boo Thang is the
last name.
Right, Boo Thang. Right. What's going to help it grow?
Well, you know, for me, and not even talking about expansion, I believe that the roster, if you're not going to expand, the roster needs to go to 13. The biggest thing I would love to see is that they have an injury reserve. You have to have an injury reserve, because if you have an injury reserve, I've always said this even as a GM, you always got to jump in free agency and bid up money on these players that may not even be worth it. If I had some injury reserve players that I can develop and bring them along, because you have players that are good that may not, you know, it's sort of like football, how you have the practice squad.
Right.
You know how you want to make the practice squad, even though you may not never play, but you're still on the team. So I would love for these teams to have like 2 extra players that they can develop without having to cut them just because you know you can't have them, 1 because of money, and 2 because there are no roster spots. And then if someone get hurt in training camp, you should have someone that can come in and play, or say someone played 40 minutes the night before. And you want another player to go out there so you can have enough to practice. So for me, I think the league, you have to expand, because I want a lot of these young, good players, and America is rich in talent, to have a job. And 2, you have to have in the reserve, because, you know, with the salaries being high, Minnesota, look what they did. They really ain't even want no pick because they so high on the salary cap.
Right.
You know, so they have to figure out how can teams have some extra players without it hitting the cap, you know?
Someone had actually, go ahead, Rita. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I would say I absolutely agree with Penny. I think that players coming out of NCAA now are actually more advanced than previous. So the talent pool is absolutely expanding because of all the AAU programs, the community programs. Kids are starting to play ball when they're, 8 years old, dreaming about the WNBA. So the thought process is different. And we have to expand. There's no way that we don't expand. So I think that would be the biggest thing that would really help the league in terms of growing the game. And I think that would really be the biggest thing.
And I know Elena Beard is working on, or I hope that they grant the team in Oakland. I think Elena Beard, having been her general manager for, I don't know how many years, 7, 8, something like that. One of the greatest leaders I've ever known. And I know she's leading a team to help bring a team to Oakland. And I think that would be a great destination. And I hope that she can accomplish that.
I like this idea, a WNBA TV. I don't know how much play that would get, but I like the thought process where I don't know whether or not there is a fan base. Well, you know what? I got two thoughts on this. I started to say I don't know whether or not there's a big enough fan base to support a 24/7 network. But then I think about all of these teams, all of these live streaming networks that have popped up, about some of anything, right? And they're surviving. So I want to take, I take that comment back. I think that there is enough to support it. Different networks, it might not make a national network like a WNBA TV, but I think now with the emergence of everything that's going on for subscription television and everything that's going on with live streaming, I think there's whenever it does, Certified Unscripted needs to be on it. How about that?
That's what we talking about.
You look at what we do. You look at what we do. The players that we have on, the pioneers that we have coming on this second half of our season. I mean, this is what we do already. We just don't have a network backing us right now.
Right. So anyone in network television that happens to watch, we're open. Please reach out to Rita Haywood.
Yes.
But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. So moving forward, what can we expect? Who got better, Penny? Who got better? What teams got better? Did anybody go somewhere where you're like, she ain't never going to play there? There's always that one you're like, oh, Lord, she's not going to make it. Come on, be honest.
No, really. I didn't even look at the draft that deep to look at it because, to be honest with you, earlier in the day, I was like thinking more or less like, oh, there are going to be a lot of broken hearts. Like exactly what I wrote. Like the numbers, you look, I mean, if I were to pick out a team and go look at it now, I could pretty much probably be like, a lot of these teams don't even have roster spots.
Yeah.
Even if I just look at the Sparks over there, who I thought did a great job during the offseason. Now you got to see if you can put it together with, Kennedy Carter, Liz, getting what's the little guard out of Seattle? I should know her name. She's from LA too, but revamping their team but then they drafted some guards. If I'm a guard, I'm like, dude, why you draft me? You know what I'm saying? Because you still got Tyler over there. I would have been like, Sparks and no Sparks, don't you touch me.
Yeah, please don't.
Because it's going to make it difficult because they already got 7 guards and then you got 3 more coming in. What are your chances? So, just using them as an example, I didn't really look at the draft like that. I tell you, I'm actually enjoying, like, when I want to watch, I watch. When I don't, I don't, So for me, it's been that kind of ball game,
Rita, talk to us a little bit. I've got running down on the ticker. You promise you are delivering.
Well, I was going to say we might want to hold off on that ticker another second.
Oh, no. I've been killing the ticker.
But I'm feeling really good about it. I had
Katrina
a long
McClain, you're not sure?
I've had a long conversation, and she seems like she's tipping over on the other side of the fence for next week.
Okay.
And, I mean, we have.
Now she really gonna be on the other side if she watching this program. She gonna say you put me on blast.
You put me on blast, right?
She gonna put me on blast.
I'll give you my word. She will eventually be on here if she's not on here next week. That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
And some other.
I got a question for the fans out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, maybe I shouldn't because I know.
No, you can't do that. You can't tease
it was something. I'm so happy. I know one thing that we missed to talk about our 50th Title IX anniversary.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about that.
The 50th Title IX.
2022. Yes, we are 50 years down the road.
And I want to hear some answers from people out there about, transgender being able to compete in women's sports.
Oh, yeah. I see why
I've been having it every time I'm sitting down with my friends. That's a debate. I want to hear how the people out there feel about it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's crank it up. I'm going over here to the comments here because that actually it's coming. I just sat down and had a long conversation with a gentleman the other day.
With the swimmer, I believe his name is. I actually wrote it down.
It's a no for me. I'm going to just go ahead and say I just you know, we go, okay.
It's too much. It's just too
This
much.
is what I
Yeah,
want to talk about.
Yeah.
It after what? Okay. Well, we go and we say, okay, because there's okay, Penny, you actually made a very, very good comment, I thought, about suddenly it's okay, transgender, but we're going to put someone who biologically, physically is bigger, stronger, still possesses significant amount of testosterone and everything else hormonal that makes
Right.
that person bigger, stronger, faster, all of these things.
Right. They're not going to be done.
But we're going to put it into the women, right?
Mhm.
So if you're transgender, they should play for the women, but there's no conversation on, you know.
Like I said yesterday in our conversation, and you guys, we do have conversations before we go on here, and this is one of the topics. I was like, I don't have anything against anybody, trans, anything. But the reality of it is, Title IX, and I know we want to be inclusive, but now I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was a young lady growing up now, so you want me to practice to be second? You know, I mean, I'm practicing to be second, and I use the swimmer, and people are gonna get mad, but I use the swimmer, what's his name, Lade Thomas. You know, you 462 when you competing as a man, and now you're over there beating Olympic women swimmers. And when I look on the podium, I mean, look at the difference. Even if I was racing you, Vera, to the finish, you and I got a chance to get a photo finish. But even his or she, her reach is even longer. You know, even if it was close, you know.
Right.
And I know everybody wants to be inclusive, but, you know, at the same time, I feel for the women that are like, okay, so I'm practicing to be second. What happens to their mental psychic?
Absolutely.
When I'm going into a race, and until I get two women out there doing football against a couple of people and winning, then it's a no for me. I'm like, I think his name was Trayvon. It's a no for me too, because it's no way.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care what drug you're on, it's going to take away all the hormones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not being mean, because I mean, I got a lot of friends that are trans. I got a lot of friends with the gay. I'm friends with everybody, but I just can't see it.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, we make a big deal about people. For instance,
I agree with Anita Skipper. I agree with her, because I'm gonna tell you something right now, and people are gonna get mad when I say this next line right here. I'm not being funny. I agree with Anita. I'm not being funny or trying to be, how do you say, embarrass anybody. But yeah, I would go get my whole front line. I would go get me a front line if I had it to. I'd go get me a whole front line.
Yeah, we're talking about people going into the portal.
They're not going to say that. I agree exactly with what Anita's saying right now.
Yeah. It's a tough conversation, because obviously, especially as women, we want to always think about being fair, being inclusive.
But we just got Title IX to make it exclusive for us, and now we gone back there being the bottom of the barrel. If I had a little girl, I'll be up at school every day, and if the coach, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna be there every day to get you out of there. You know, I mean, how do I tell my little girl or my big girl, okay, go run and be prepared to take second?
Right. So what you know, last year, or maybe it was 3 years ago, didn't they have the transgender league out of Atlanta? Like, how did that end up? I mean, does anyone know the answer to that?
What did you say, Rita?
It was a transgender league, a basketball league. I think.
I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah,
I believe you. I believe it. I didn't know.
It was. I think T.I. and Tiny or somebody in Master P. It was a couple of people that were involved, and it just kind of disappeared. So I don't know if anyone.
And see, when you're in California, that shows you the difference between Atlanta and California. Because out here, the only league that I thought that set women back 50 years, when they had the lingerie league, the lingerie football league out here, people playing football in, you know, Victoria's Secret. I was like, okay, you guys. I was like, really?
Right. Anyway.
Oh boy. I'm glad you remember to bring all of this stuff up.
And look what Niecy's saying. I agree with
what
her.
She said.
You know,
I didn't play ball. I ran track. I'd want to run against other girls because they make me better, not running against guys.
Yeah, because like I said, the swimmer was 462 when he competed as a man, and now he's number one competing as a woman.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, until I see me a couple of women, and then ask yourself, we're always talking about this in the women's league. You notice there's never been a conversation about a trans man in the men's league.
In the men's league, that's what I started with.
No,
exactly.
To me,
is that here we go again?
In the women's league until you get a woman that's competing in the men's league. And if you don't have one, then don't knock on the door. Because it's not fair. If I had, how would I tell my daughter, oh, practice hard, you can win? You're not going to win.
Never, right?
Yeah, we were always told, this is a good point from Trisha, girls couldn't play on boys' teams because we'll get hurt because of that biological difference. Trish. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you know what I mean? So
hold up. They can't go on their team, but they come on our team now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's. I think there's there's obviously a conversation, because being transgender should not disqualify you from playing, but it's a complicated. You know, it's going to be a lot of mud, because at the end of the day, there are biological differences. Scientifically, you're not going to be able to misquote that argument, right? And if indeed it does make you faster, stronger, and it's proven that, then it does. It just muddies the water. It makes it very, very complicated. No matter how inclusive you want to be, it makes it extremely complicated. So it's going to have to be something, because yes, you should be able to, no matter who you are, you should be able to compete.
Well, if I don't have a chance to win, why am I practicing?
Yeah.
And that's the mental state that I'm looking at. A lot of moms, and and I read it all the time, because I read a lot of kids and mothers are like, what do I tell my daughter about her mental psyche? And people forget that.
It'd be devastating.
There's a mental thing that it could be a mental breakdown there. I mean, because why would I be practicing? I'm not practicing to come in second, period.
Yeah. It won't be an issue for the men's league, because a woman making the transition is still hormonally a woman. It would not dominate against men the way men, right? So it is vastly unfair on a lot of levels, skewing towards women who have, as you said, fought so hard to have, quote unquote, a league of our own on many, many levels. And now it gets very, very complicated. I'm all for inclusivity, though. I am. I really am.
I am too, if you can figure it out, but I'm not.
There's a better way to do it.
Now,
I don't know what it is, though.
I don't think it's going to work.
Me neither. And if you're going to do that, as far as I'm concerned, think about it. We've been fighting all our lives just to get whatever. Okay. Then as far as I'm concerned, then give women the money. Give women the money. One time in LA, I was the only GM that had titles. You think I made the money that these other GMs were making with no title?
Yeah. There's a good comment too, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I think it will get so muddy that if it did happen, then you got to start measuring testosterone levels, because then why not? Why can't I inject enough so that I can compete? I just think it can get blown out of proportion. So I know that, they're looking into it, and I'm sure there's going to be arguments on every side. And I'm sure this is not the last time we'll be talking about it, because it will be a news item over and over again. That is my thought process. There is one last one. How about the track athlete who said she had too much testosterone in her system and they wouldn't let her run, but you let the guy swim against women? So, all of these points, well taken. All of these points.
Faith, I'm right there with you, Faith. And that's why I say, if I had a daughter, what do I tell her? Explain to me, what do I tell her?
Exactly.
This is interesting. I played on my junior high school boys team, and a woman coach from an opposing team didn't want to let me play, but I was a starter for my team, and we took a stand. If I wasn't allowed to play, then there would be no game. As a young lady, I was bothered because I played all my life with guys or men prior to high school and college.
I did too. And matter of fact, when I got to junior high school, I was shocked that there was a woman in a men's team, because in elementary, the team was all one when I played. Right. So I played on the boys team. When I got to junior high school, that's when I was like, oh, there's a boy and there's a girls team. As far as I'm concerned, if the team that you were playing on, Rhonda, if he wanted you to play, then you should have been able to play. The other coach, just
don't have anything to do
out there and see if you could beat them. She shouldn't have had nothing to do with that.
Absolutely.
Global Mixed Gender Basketball League.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Because I know they were out there for a hot second, had, big promotions, blah, blah, blah. But
God,
then
I missed that. I missed that.
it just
Wow.
fizzled out, but it's
I think it was more about it. Ty Harris played in the co-ed league. Master P had a NOLA team. Right. I think it hasn't started back up once the pandemic happened. Okay. All right. Good stuff, folks. Good stuff. Thank you so much to our viewers. You guys are it's good. It's good. It's good. And sometimes it's hard to get it all, but luckily today we were able to get through quite a bit. I think we had some good discussions. Final thoughts though, Penny, as we get ready to wrap. We're over. We went over the hour.
It's okay because we back and we unscripted.
We're back. I know. Wrapping up, Penny, any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. Had a lot of great movements. You got a lot of great new coaches in the WNBA that we're probably gonna be talking about next week. With Vanessa, with Becky Hammond. Pokey Chapman's back on the bench. Ebony Hoffman, who played for the Sparks. It's gonna be a super, super exciting WNBA season. I'm looking forward to talking about that and everything that comes with that. I love this game and I love I love America and I love all the things that happen in it, good or bad. So, hey, we back and we're going to be bigger and better.
Bigger and better, absolutely. I'm going to piggyback off you again because I don't do this, but I am super excited to be back and to have all of you joining us for our first show, The Return, because it's been a long time. The things I want, you as an audience, do send in some of your ideas or thoughts that you'd like to have us discuss that you feel maybe we're not addressing fully. So we like to have conversation back and forth with you. And we're just thankful that you're supporting us and you've been with us and you're rocking with us all the way through. So thank you. Namaste. And we'll see you next week.
We will. I want to we started off with the college season and I forgot to get my shout out for my college roommate and teammate, Felicia Leggett Jack, who's the head coach now at Syracuse. Go Orange. I had to get my alma mater in there. Big shout out to Amaka Agugwa, who is the head coach now at Virginia. African-American women stepping up, getting a chance, getting an opportunity, show the love, show the support. I think it's awesome. I'm proud to say I know these ladies. So I'll wrap with that final thought. Next week, we'll be right back. Pardon me?
I just want to shout out my brother because he helped me get through all of this. So shout out to my brother, Rita Haywood, out in New York. So giving love to him.
All right. Awesome. We'll see you all next week. Remember, you can always check us out. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. And moving forward, if we pop up anywhere else, we'll let you know, but it's all in the works. So we hope. So thank you for being a great, great audience. Again, we'll check you out next week. You'll check us out next week. And game on. See you next week. Oh, wait, I have to say the little thing. When it comes to women's hoops, we're not new to this. We're true to this. We are certified.
Unscripted.
See you guys next week.